Can you spell grub? Spell exert. Your word is length. Spell quack. Your word is twist. The next word is update. Spell filter. All right, spell tank. Spell size. All right, spell defy. Next up, erupt. Spell brain. Your word is town. The next word is zoo. The next word is proof. Spell flower. Next up, ash. Can you spell gender? Can you spell film? Can you spell margin? Next up, magnificent. All right, spell walnut. Your word is warrior. Spell anatomical. Spell human. All right, spell forbid. The next word is noble. Next up, hotel. Next up, intent. The next word is clever. Spell giant. The next word is mix. Can you spell iron? The next word is exile. Spell shake. All right, spell kiss. Can you spell prank? Spell greedy. Your word is wind. Can you spell word? Can you spell? Your word is irony. Burial. Spell cabin. The next word is circle. All right, spell queen. Next up, probably. Next up, villain. Can you spell firefighter? Can you spell agnostic? Your word is alliance. The next word is transaction. Can you spell chronic? Spell embassy. Can you spell palatine? All right, spell hypothesis. Next up, epiphany. Next up, sabotage. Your word is resilience. Can you spell symmetrical? Next up, commodity. The next word is solidarity. Can you spell negotiation? All right, spell fluorescent. Next up, encore. Spell reliability. Spell dairy. Can you spell duck? Next up, trauma. Spell house. Next up, exert. Spell wind. Your word is length. Next up, soda. Next up, noob. Flower. The next word is grub. Tank. Next up, defy. The next word is emoji. Next up, update. Your word is all right, spell anti-disestablishmentarianism. The next word is honorific abilitudinity. Spell quadrimodative. The next word is ethnomethodology. The next word is quindecasyllabic. The next word is Arthroeresis. Can you spell infinitesimal? The next word is sequoia. Your word is iconoclast. The next word is paradigm. Next up, onomatopoeia. Your word is dendrochronology. The next word is serendipity. Can you spell inchoate? Your word is Buckminster Fullerene. The next word is paraphernalia. Spell abakashi. Can you spell deoxyribonucleic? All right, spell hieroglyphics. The next word is capoeira. Spell soliloquy. Your word is Bogolanfini. Can you spell portmanteau? All right, spell languid. All right, spell bureaucracy. Your word is perspicacious. Spell acromatophilia. All right, spell paroxysm. Can you spell baccalaureate? Your word is capricious. Your word is borborygmus. All right, spell neuropsychological. Your word is Worcestershire. Can you spell milieu? Your word is dichotomization. All right, spell contradistinguish. Next up, psychoneuroendocrinological. Next up, floxinosinyhilipilification. Your word is bourgeoisification. Can you spell anthropomorphization? The next word is bourgeoisie. Next up, otorhinolaryngological. Next up, polyphyloprogenitive. Can you spell hypoparathyroidism? Your word is pseudo-hypoparathyroidism. Next up, psychophysicotherapeutics. All right, spell pneumoencephalography. Pneumoencephalography. Can you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Spell institutionalization. All right, spell adrenocorticotrophin. Your word is incomprehensibility. Next up, utilitarianism. The next word is acquiesce. Can you spell aegis? Spell fuchsia. The next word is antediluvian. Can you spell jurisprudence? All right, spell prestidigitation. Your word is batrachophobia. Spell infundibulum. Spell gubernatorial. Can you spell quasquicentennial? Spell lepidopterology. The next word is isthmus. Can you spell susurration? All right, spell acetaminophen. All right, spell fossiliferous. Can you spell superferromagnetism? The next word is anachronistic. Spell achromatophil. Can you spell pusillanimous? Can you spell sesquipedalian? All right, spell squatulate. Spell state. Your word is subpoena. Next up, languid. The next word is susurration. All right, spell serendipity. Your word is radiometeorograph. All right, spell convolvulaceous. The next word is gastroenterologist. All right, spell anthropomorphization. Your word is hypoparathyroidism. All right, spell otorhinolaryngological. Next up, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Spell paradigm. Spell paraphernalia. All right, next spell up, gubernatorial. Can you spell infinitesimal? All right, spell pusillanimous. Your word is rhinorrhgia. All right, spell fossiliferous. All right, spell allotransplantation. Next up, bureaucracy. All right, spell baccalaureate. Next up, dendrochronology. Next up, infundibulum. All right, spell neuropsychological. The next word is sesquipedalian. All right, spell pulchritudinous. All right, spell quixotry. Your word is Bogolonfini. Next up, jurisprudence. Your word is batrachophobia. Next up, onomatopoeia. All right, spell compartmentalization. Can you spell acetaminophen? All right, spell thalassophobia. The next word is fuchsia. All right, spell anachronistic. All right, spell antediluvian. All right, spell apocryphal. All right, spell utilitarianism. Next up, Worcestershire. Your word is oligonucleotide. The next word is xylotypographic. Can you spell pseudo-hypoparathyroidism? Spell floxinosinyhilipilification. Spell institutionalization. Spell absquatulate. Spell Cyrillic. The next word is aegis. The next word is soliloquy. Next up, entrepreneur. Spell acromatophil. Your word is labyrinthine. Next up, syzygy. All right, spell inchoate. Your word is incomprehensibility. All right, spell milieu. All right, spell hieroglyphics. Next up, supererogatory. The next word is isthmus. Next up, quasquicentennial. Can you spell deoxyribonucleic? Your word is prognostication. All right, spell dichotomization. Spell portmanteau. All right, spell prestidigitation. The next word is contradistinguish. Your word is sequoia. Next up, perspicacious. All right, spell capoeira. Can you spell lepidopterology? Can you spell Buckminster Fullerene? Spell acquiesce. Can you spell capricious? All right, spell verisimilitude. Next up, acromatophilia. The next word is honorific abilitudinity. Next up, polyphyloprogenitive. The next word is glyceraldehyde. Can you spell psychoneuroendocrinological? Your word is autothaumaturgist. Your word is bourgeoisification. Next up, bourgeoisie. The next word is quindecasyllabic. All right, spell psychophysicotherapeutics. Spell quadrimodative. Your word is arthroeresis. Can you spell hippopotamonstrosusquipedaliophobia? The next word is adrenocorticotrophin. Can you spell psychoneuroimmunology? Your word is ethnomethodology. Your word is bourgeoisie. All right, spell parallelogrammatic. Spell psychoneuroendocrinological. Your word is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Spell anthropomorphization. Spell convolvulaceous. Next up, floxinosinyhilipilification. All right, spell pneumoencephalography. All right, spell autothaumaturgist. Your word is psychoneuroimmunology. Spell arthroeresis. Next up, gastroenterologist. The next word is paraphernalia. Spell soliloquy. The next word is dichotomization. Spell isthmus. The next word is inchoate. Your word is contradistinguish. Can you spell utilitarianism? The next word is baccalaureate. All right, spell pusillanimous. Spell infundibulum. Spell fossiliferous. All right, spell hieroglyphics. All right, spell susurration. Can you spell prognostication? Can you spell deoxyribonucleic? All right, spell borborygmus. Next up, labyrinthine. The next word is prestidigitation. All right, spell allotransplantation. Your word is infinitesimal. Spell paroxysm. Your word is acetaminophen. All right, spell quixotry. The next word is jurisprudence. Your word is aegis. Your word is paradigm. Spell abakashi. Spell batrachophobia. Can you spell bureaucracy? Can you spell rhinorrhgia? Spell bourgeoisification. Next up, polyphyloprogenitive. Spell pseudo-hypoparathyroidism. Spell adrenocorticotrophin. All right, spell otorhinolaryngological. All right, spell oligonucleotide. Your word is xylotypographic. Spell quadrimodotative. Next up, quindecasyllabic. Can you spell hippopotamonstrosusquipedaliophobia? Spell ethnomethodology. Can you spell honorific abilitudinity? All right, spell iconoclast. Your word is Worcestershire. Spell verisimilitude. All right, spell Bogolonfini. All right, spell capoeira. Spell antediluvian. Your word is Cyrillic. Your word is apocryphal. All right, spell achromatophil. Your word is absquatulate. Your word is pulchritudinous. Spell serendipity. Can you spell thalassophobia? All right, spell compartmentalization. Spell perspicacious. All right, spell quasquicentennial. Can you spell milieu? Next up, onomatopoeia. Can you spell acromatophilia? Spell superferromagnetism. All right, spell syzygy. Can you spell supererogatory? Your word is capricious. All right, spell lepidopterology. Your word is anachronistic. All right, spell languid. Spell subcompartmentalization. Your word is sesquipedalian. Spell acquiesce. All right, spell neuropsychological. All right, spell glyceraldehyde. Next up, psychophysicotherapeutics. Your word is radiometeorograph. Spell hypoparathyroidism. All right, spell institutionalization. The next word is anti-disestablishmentarianism. All right, spell parallelogrammatic. Spell radiometeorograph. Spell hippopotamonstrosusquipedaliophobia. The next word is gastroenterologist. Can you spell floxinosinyhilipilification? Your word is psychophysicotherapeutics. The next word is ethnomethodology. The next word is hypoparathyroidism. All right, spell psychoneuroendocrinological.
Easy one, easy one.
Next up, sequoia. All right, spell serendipity. Can you spell milieu? The next word is onomatopoeia. Your word is fuchsia. Can you spell gubernatorial? All right, spell prognostication. Your word is paradigm. All right, spell inchoate. Your word is paraphernalia.